All right. Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. For some reason, laptop don't want to work, so it's fine. We'll let the laptop be the laptop. How about that? Well, yeah. All right. Listen. So what I was saying before I started saying this is what I was saying. What our goal is today is we're going to speak on some NIL, some digs. We're going to speak on some things that we can do. Yeah, of course, to not just make it better, but what's up, CJ? Um, but I figured we would talk about different teams using it, the ups and downs of it, what is to come. We're going to talk about the best ways that we think it's gone or that people have gone about it. We'll talk about the worst ways, including, Florida man. He knows all about what happened with his quarterback that they didn't get. I think on top of that, we can also, to, not can hit, but I think on top of that, you can also talk about some of the deals that these NIL players have. So, first off, this is the way we'll start with it. I believe Texas A&M, Texas, and also Miami seem to be the three front runners of most NIL given. I think we all understand that. We've we figured that out, and it's not a bad thing at all. But we have Miami going into year two with Cristobal. We have him having no offense coordinator, which is the toughest part about this whole thing. And then on top of that, we add in Texas A&M and M and all of the NIL players they have on their team. And when I say NIL players, I mean players that strictly chose that school due to how much money they were getting paid. They're going on year three of this. They're going on year three of recruiting straight from the NIL underground, whatever you want to call it. And it's tough because if they don't do good with all of that talent, it's going to show a little bit. But then you have the flip side. You have Texas. Texas is showing for a promising year. Had a pretty good year this past year, had some ups and downs. Also had a first year quarterback in Quinn Ewers. He's going to come back looking to be pretty strong this year, which I think everybody supports that. We want him to be good just because we want college football to be good. Arch Manning will come in the following year. No, actually, he'll come in this year. That's right. Of course, he'll redshirt. That's the goal for them. I'm very sure. Uh, and then you'll have Arch Manning attacking the SEC in 2024. But with that being said, you have the flip side of how Texas is on the rise, Texas A&M is on the fall, and then you've got Miami that's right there in the middle. I look for Miami to have a better year this year than they did last year. And I'm just curious because I'm obsessed with the NIL. I'm obsessed with how it affects not just college football as a whole, but how it affects team chemistry, culture, players, their mindsets, um, and people who sustain it, people who can't. So yeah, yeah, agreed. Um, I do. He's saying Texas University is overrated, and I do, and I completely understand that. I do think it's very tough. I think you also add in, and this is what I was going to say. I'll let if Fishing comes on, I'm gonna let him talk about the Florida deal. But bringing up Georgia before we get to some of these players who have NIL deals, bringing up Georgia. Georgia has a program that is built to yes acquire NIL deals just like everybody else, but without the player having to have its own agent or his own agent or her own agent, whatever. And it's a group of former players or former Georgia graduates, whatever, and they uh, I will drop it for you, sir. But they end up going out and basically creating these deals of people that are interested in certain players and getting money for the team or for the player. Uh, but I'm going to look up. I'm going to put the link in real quick though, so Jay can come on. But I'm going to look up some of these NIL deals that some of these players have, and we can just kind of speak on. Just I'm just curious to see what players have what NIL deals. Uh, all right, we'll see how this goes. Um, we're going to look up some of the biggest college football NIL deals, and I think we'll all be a little. we'll be a little curious to see how this goes. Okay, so here's the first one. Uh, Mohammed Ibrahim he's for the Minnesota Gophers. He was caught eating Gushers on the sideline. Well, he teamed up with Gushers, which is a General Mills product, for an NIL deal. Neither disclosed on how much money the deal was. According to On Three's NIL valuation, he's worth around $460,000 based on his performance, influence, and exposure. Uh, it doesn't include brand deals, but the fact is these guys that Gushers is making like boxes with his face on it, and that's the crazy part about NIL, basically showing at how far NIL goes. It's not just Verizon Wireless. It's not just this. It's not just that. Trying to think of another one. What's up, Sir EJ?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, okay. I can hear you on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, for some reason, I guess the headphones don't work or something. Because can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I was trying to speak into the headphones the whole time. They weren't even plugged into the phone. Anyways, so yeah, so like I was saying, dude, the goal of this was I wanted to go over some of these NIL deals, and this is another one. GT Sports Marketing. I have no idea who that is, but they have a $1.4 million deal with Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to get multiple players, bro.
Yeah, no, I agreed. And what I'm saying is, it's less of like, I'm sure Texas has paid him money. I'm sure Texas A&M has paid their players. But for these other companies that are just like, hey, we would like to sign you, and I get from what you're saying is, yeah, man, you got to have a full team. Like, you're not, just because you sign a few players for a bunch of money doesn't mean your team's going to be great.
Yeah, here's the problem. You take a team like Georgia, right?
Yes.
Who has molded themselves after what Saban did at Bama with Kirby, right?
Yeah.
You take a team like that, and you take a team like Bama, and you take a team like Ohio State, who has a lot of big name stars, every season.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, you take a player like Brock Bowers, who says, you know what, I'll take my NIL money and I'll spend it and share it with the whole team.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, there's no way for other teams to compete with that, bro.
And
like
I what I heard from
I think Caleb Williams is an excellent quarterback, dude. And they have a ton of money out there, bro. But you can't get all these players to come out there because they're not being developed like they develop them at Bama and Georgia.
Well, and to your point, I know Brock Bowers made a certain amount of money last year. So it's like, it's great to think that even though Brock has made a lot of money, that his mindset was, hey, I'm good now. Like, give the rest of it to my team.
Yeah,
like most players would be like, oh no, I want all of it.
Yeah, I just don't think you can. I don't think you can out culture with NIL.
No, agreed. Yes, the NIL will never outweigh culture.
I mean, I think NIL will help even the field a little bit, but I just don't think you can. The culture is the culture, bro, and I just don't think you can pay that off of money.
I agreed. And that's why bringing up the Texas A&M deal, that was so big, because Texas A&M is trying it. It's not a knock on them. They have the money to do it, so they're trying it. And I completely understand that. But we're able to use them as an example because they are the team that is doing it the most. And you're seeing a huge drop off in culture. You're seeing a huge drop off in play. And it's like, is that what happens when you build your team off NIL? You just have a bunch of players.
I just don't think you can. It's just like you said earlier. You can't out NIL the culture. I mean, players want to be a part of a team, man. They want to. I mean, I know that in our day and age, these high profile players just want to get the money that they're due, and I understand that. I'm not. Look, I didn't have a ton when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
I'm well off now because of how hard I've worked to get the money I've got, right? And I
Hmm.
understand. I mean, I can't. I don't understand fully if you come from nothing. Like when I was younger, I didn't have nothing. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't in the slums. I wasn't like Hey, I wasn't. Maria is out there. I wasn't like in the midst of living in the gutter. Like, so I will never say that I understand that type of living, but I've worked with kids that were like that. I've
Yeah.
seen people like that, and I just don't think you can. I don't think you can buy your way out of that culture by that gives you the team culture like some teams. Like I don't even. I'll be honest with you, dude. Like I don't think Ohio State has that culture.
Agreed.
Like I think Bama has that culture because I know what Saban is from and what he creates there. And I know Georgia has that culture. And I know there's even some teams that don't have the resources that these big schools have that have that culture. They just don't have the talent. But like you just can't like I think these players thrive for culture and family and teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't if you never grew up with a family organized in your life, when you go to a school that gives you that family and that culture, that's way bigger than the money.
Well, and that is a great point because what you see at Georgia, it's not like only a certain class, or lower class or middle class or high
Yeah.
class. Like those are the only players that commit as one class. No, you see players like you said that come from the slums that commit to Georgia, just like you see some players go, man, I'm going to go to Texas A&M because they're going to pay me this much. I think it boils down to the people you have in your corner, your support group,
Yeah.
who has either helped guide you or will help you make that decision. Because, like you said, dude, you can go and you can chase that, or you can go to Georgia and like I know the money looks good now, but you can go to Georgia and you might not play till your third year there, but they're going to prepare you to have a 10 to 12 year career in the NFL. Like, look at what they're
And,
doing now. Look at the players that are in the NFL now that are rookies. They're all playing.
and man, I,
Like,
I understand. Like, I understand if you need the money, bro, you go where who's going to give you the money. Like,
yeah,
it's foolish to think that you wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at a Brock Bowers, I mean, Brock Bowers, I don't know a lot about the history of Brock Bowers, but I guarantee you Brock Bowers was pretty comfortable in California before he came to Georgia.
yes,
I mean, he
yeah,
was at a big time high school who had won multiple state championships.
yeah,
And I'm not discrediting him for that. I'm just saying that there's a different mindset there when you come from nothing and somebody's all of a sudden offering you millions of dollars. I mean, I get it. I get the fact that they go to schools to take care of their families because a lot of these student athletes are not going to that school so they can have the money. They're going to that school so a whole generation can have the money.
that's very very true, dude.
So I don't fault that. I would never fault that in a million years. But what I'm saying is like you have to have the culture there and build the culture to have a team outlook of how you're going to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. I just don't think you can keep taking these kids in and giving them millions of dollars and expecting them to be part of a team if you don't have the right coach, the right resources, I mean, what
Agreed.
Georgia and a few, and there's only a handful of these teams that are doing, and they're doing this the right way 120%. And I think that's what it takes. And the NIL is not going to outdo that.
No, and dude, and that's a perfect point because, and I may get mauled for this, for saying this, but you know what it makes me think of is somebody saying, "Hey, we have this system set up where you can come in, you can learn right away, we'll hook you up with a good job, but over time, you will get better at this job and we'll continue to give you raise after raise, depending on how well you do.
Yeah.
Or you have a company that's like, look, we just need people. You're like one of the better people. We'll pay you this up front. And you're like, whoa, that, you're looking at a job, that 150,000 up front looks really good. But then you're looking at this job where potentially in 2 or 3 years you could be making 300,000 a year when that's just 150,000 up front, but you're getting paid 50,000 a year. Like it messes with you, and it's that sense of like, it's easy to sell drugs and get money. I haven't done that, but I can, just seeing what that is, it's easy to sell, but it's illegal. So of
Well,
course people get caught up.
it's like you said, dude. It's all pretty up front,
Yes, and when the prettier you make it, that's where you have players. Even if two players are both from the same place, it's just like the two brothers that have the alcoholic dad.
Yeah.
One grows up to be an alcoholic because his dad was an alcoholic. The other one grows up and never drinks alcohol because his dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's two different mindsets. So that's what impresses me the most is, like you said with Georgia, that culture of Kirby finding kids who match that perfect culture. And
And
I don't know what are you about to say?
and the thing is, I mean, teamwork makes the dream work, bro. And it's
Yeah.
like that with everything. It's like that with anything that's successful, man. You get your reparations, for lack of a better term. I know that's a bad term these days, but you
Mm-hmm.
get your reparations for what you put into what you get.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many people. I mean, yeah, there's some people out there that just fall into it, right? They just
Yeah.
fall into the fact that they got millions of dollars. Their family had it. Their family before they were born had it. And that's great. But that's such a small percentage of the population, man.
Agreed.
You can't have a bunch of players on one team who are all in it for themselves thinking they're going to make it, bro. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that ever. I
And
mean,
I'll I'll
look at the greatest NFL teams like the Patriots, man. All them son of a guns, man, they were all about the team. I mean, yeah, they wanted a good paycheck, but when
yeah.
it came down to it, if it came down to money or them winning a Super Bowl, they wanted a Super Bowl, bro.
Well, and that's a good point because as cliche as people may think we sound when we say this kind of stuff, you have to add in Georgia's won back to back. Not many teams have won back to back.
No.
So not let alone in the playoff era. So when it comes down to, hey, we're being for real about the culture deal.
Yeah.
We're for
And
real.
I mean,
That's it.
I'm not some superstar athlete. I mean, I was lucky enough to be really good at a sport when I was growing up. And my parents, forced me, not forced me, but they encouraged me every time to stay with that sport. It
Yeah.
helped me pay for my college. It helped me pay for all my bills when I was in college. I didn't have to work when I was in college. I was lucky enough to play not Division 1 college sports, but I played Division 3.
Yeah.
And I know what it takes to have a team that can win. And I,
Exactly.
I don't pretend to know what it's like to make millions of dollars as a pro athlete or a college athlete, because I get that. But I know the mindset is the same, whether you're Georgia or some, NIIA team who wants to win their championship. You have to have teamwork. You have to
Agreed,
all
dude.
be on the same page and love each other. And if you're not winning, bro.
I know that this is crazy to think this kind of stuff starting to get out, but we are in the NIL era. Saban, I don't know if you saw it, but he had spoke out about there was a recruit or two recruits that came, and one of them, they both were asking, about how much money they would get, and then one of them was talking about like if he was going to get enough to be able to send his girlfriend to like dental school or so. It was something like that. It was like he
Yeah, I
needed,
saw that. Yeah.
yeah, and it was like, and he was
Law
like,
school.
yeah, and he was like, y'all can just leave.
Yeah.
But that the thing is, I'm sure a lot of coaches have been addressed like that. But for Saban to come out and say it, it just goes to show it's getting that bad.
Oh, it's
Where
and I don't like I agree totally 120% with the players earning the money that they bring to the college. Like
mm-hmm,
it is truly a business,
yeah,
And they
Yeah,
make those colleges, especially the higher profile colleges, they make them millions of dollars a year. And I think they should be compensated for that. I don't think
yeah,
they should be penalized for signing a jersey like Todd
agreed.
Gurley was for a whole
Yes, dude.
half a season. I mean, that guy, I went to those games to see him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I love Georgia and I love Todd Gurley, but I wanted to see him get 3 rushing touchdowns in the game of the end zone I was sitting in.
exactly.
And then they go and damn suspend him for 4 games, which affects the whole team because he's making some money off signing a jersey at a party.
And it's
I mean, give
crazy to
me a
think,
break.
man, this man made probably a couple $100 for himself, maybe a
Come on,
thousand.
dude. He's one of the most famous running backs, him and Nick Chubb in UGA history.
So imagine how much money UGA made off of him, but then he gets penalized for making not even 1%.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's out there getting his brains bashed in every time he goes through the offensive line.
Especially because back then Georgia ran the ball 35 times a game.
All the time they ran the ball.
Like, dude, I remember when he came back from his injury and we're playing against Auburn, and they were like, he's got 27 carries on the night. I'm like, bro,
Give
it's
me
his
a
first game back. Like,
give me a break, bro. I mean,
what are
it's
you
just
doing?
I'm like I told you, man. I'm all about them paying these players for
Yeah,
their effort that they give. I don't like. I'm fine with that. I think that it's. I think, like you said with Saban, I'm the biggest Bama hater there is. Okay, like
yeah.
I've been to all these games. I went to the national championship in 17 when they beat us on 2nd and 23. I went to
Oh,
the
yeah.
game in Athens where it rained like hell and it was 42 degrees. And I stood there for 4 damn hours and watched them beat the ever living shit out of us. I've been to every Bama game and Georgia game in the last 10 years. So I don't want to hear any of this shit about, all these other teams that Georgia hates. I hate Alabama, but I respect Nick Saban for what he's done.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will never down him for what he's done. I just hate Bama because they kicked our asses forever.
Agreed.
I mean, that's fine, but Nick Saban is the leading authority on when I have to tell a player to stick it up his butt because he's too arrogant to think I'm just going to give him what he wants.
Now, to add to that, yes, I do believe that players should make money, but in no way do I think players should be able to just ask for what they should want, what they should get, and then when they get there, like they already got a paycheck coming in. NIL was created to be more of, dude, you're balling out here. People are coming to watch you in the stands. You just had 3 touchdowns the other day. Like, your jersey sales are going through the roof. Oh, for real? Yeah, dude, here's your cut. Hey, we got these companies calling. You've been doing good last couple of games. They want to sponsor you. Here, you take 90% of it. Like, that's what NIL is supposed to be, not, hey, it's not like stocks. You're not buying them as they're coming out of college. It was supposed to be more of, you
No,
know,
you're paying a player for his talent. It
yeah,
ain't it
yeah.
ain't got it ain't got nothing to do with your player's girlfriend wanting bills paid for law school.
Exactly. And I would even go further to say not just for talent, but for results.
Yeah,
You
and
could be
like
talented.
I don't care what you give that money to. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm paying you $1 million a year to come play for my school,
Yeah.
how you divvy up that money outside of me giving it to you is your business,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. But don't come in
Yeah,
to
don't
ask.
come in with
Yeah,
the
bro.
expectation that I want you to pay for this down here, pay for that down here. I mean, these schools have been paying for shit like that for decades, bro. This
Hmm.
ain't new. It's just now it's public.
Exactly. Just like whenever we got Justin Fields and his sister came to play
Yeah,
softball,
come on,
it's
bro.
like she was a really good softball player. Probably could have
Hmm.
went to a few other D1 schools, but
Yeah,
she chose Georgia because why? Like, you know what I mean?
I know. I think this is like they've got to get some rules on the NIL shit. And I'm here to tell you, man, once Congress gets involved and the IRS gets involved, this whole thing's gonna be screwed.
Yeah, because then players are going to be getting like 40% of what
Yeah.
they're getting now.
Yeah.
that's, That's very true. They're going to tax the crap
Yeah,
out of it.
you about to lose most of what you're getting. You better enjoy that. And I think that's part of this too, Tiger, is the fact that these players are taking advantage of it right now while they got it, knowing. I mean, they're not stupid. They know what's coming. I
Well,
mean, once they start regulating the hell out of it, these players ain't gonna make shit by the time their agent and the lobbyist makes the money they're making. They ain't gonna make shit.
I know. Well, and this is a thing that I think is really cool. Deion Sanders does this, and we have a few players at Georgia that have been doing it. You make money through YouTube. Well, these players are starting to capitalize by making their own YouTube channel and getting a lot of subscribers, and that way you're not having to ask the school for anything.
Sure.
YouTube is now paying you. It has nothing to do with the school, but that's NIL.
But you're still going to pay taxes on that.
And that's true. I just mean it more of a like, hey, Georgia, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to play here, and I have a few endorsements, but I also have 50,000 subscribers, and I'm making this much money off of YouTube. And that's not from Georgia. Georgia's not having to say, okay, we're paying him X amount. No, he is now a businessman.
If you don't go out and look at all of the options that you have to increase your monetary gain, right?
Yes.
So if you're basically a player now is a business. So if he's not looking at all if he's not taking advantage of all of his social media outlets that he can touch, just basically anything that he can touch to be sponsored, then you're missing out.
Agreed. And that's like you said, the whole taking advantage of it. There are things out there to take advantage of that players are missing out on.
Sure, but you know how that is. It's like you and I talked about it with things that have to do with YouTubers. We know, like
agreed.
You have to branch out. If you don't branch out yourself, right, you have to find somebody that knows how to branch out.
Instead of being prideful and letting your ego get in the way and going, no, I'm going to do it by myself.
Yeah, you have to pay a service to make you more money.
Agreed.
It's just like an ad service. Like, look, this is me. I'm worth what I think I'm worth. But what does somebody else out there who I can pay a little bit of money? Because say you pay some agent, it's just like agents, right? Most agents aren't great with one person. Like they have 20 guys.
Agreed.
Right? They're not making multi-millions on every guy, but they're making a little bit better on some than others and whatever, But then you go find somebody who's your agent who puts you out there and they make you 20% more.
I mean, exactly.
I mean, if you're making $1 million a year, 20% more is great.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
I mean,
and but that is the part though why it does excite me to think about, okay, what I'm doing now, like NIL is going to be legal for high school in Georgia very soon. It's already legal in a few states.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm at a school where we can recruit. Like I can recruit kids to come to our school, and that's awesome because all of the things I've seen over my lifetime, plus seeing Kirby, like I get to incorporate all of that into what I do, but in my own way. But on the flip side, what, we just won the region championship yesterday, which that's great.
Congrats.
And that's all. We haven't won one since 2018.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't won a state championship in school history. We have a really good chance to do that this year. So not only are people going to see after the season me having a bunch of travel teams and seeing, social media is going to blow up. I'm going to throw it all over Instagram and Facebook of all these kids training, and all these parents who aren't with me are going to go, man, how come my kid's not doing that on their travel team? How come my kid's high school, they don't practice like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it must work because they just won region. Yeah. You just like Georgia. Kirby's hard workouts must work. They just went back to back.
The results speak way louder than money, bro.
And that's where, if I dominate this, all these things that we talk about, seeing colleges make mistakes, seeing colleges not make mistakes and do it the right way, I can put that into my everyday life and skip so many mistakes that I see these other schools or kids making. And that's why I'm so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just some random hobby. It's something that I can put into my everyday life. And that's the exciting part, is understanding, yo, like, Texas A&M, you can buy a bunch of players, but I can recruit a bunch of players. Maybe when in a few years everybody wants to come to our school, but I have to turn people down because they're not right for the culture.
Yeah, and dude, in this country, dude, we should have had school choice a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't understand why. I mean, I understand for tax reasons why they make kids go to certain schools, but like, if you have the money to pay to go to a school you want to go to, why can't you?
I know.
That's
I know.
absurd, bro.
Well, and like you said, it is. I know it's a lot to do with the tax deal, and like if you go outside of your district, now you got to pay extra money. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, but if
Like,
you got the money, pay it, bro.
yeah,
Who cares?
exactly. Yes, but it also sucks for that kid who maybe they don't have the money, but they really want to go to that school and it's not too far away. They just can't afford that out of district fee.
Well, yeah,
And
yeah,
it,
we can get into that too, bro. I mean, you know how that is.
yeah, and it's not. I'm not saying like, oh, woe is me type deal.
No,
It's
I'm
just
not. I'm just saying,
that.
like, there's programs out there that should have been funding those things a long time ago.
Agreed. Yes. Like, hey, why do you want to move? Well, I'm really good at my sport and it's not working here. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, do you know that? Yeah, I like him and I love the way he coaches. I love his attitude. Oh, like now, if you were to say that, people would go, oh, that's not a good excuse.
yeah. Well, our government's so good at making excuses. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, making excuses to our
Yeah,
excuses.
come on, man. If somebody's trying to better themselves, find a way to help them.
Oh,
Is all
agreed.
is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's like in a few days, it may be next week, but I have two kids out of the three teams. I have a seventh grade girls team, a 10th grade girls team, and an 11th grade boys team that we're going to do travel ball after the season. And this is going to be designed just like a college program where you're going to get faster and stronger. We're not, we're going to, if you're weak at this, we're going to work at it. And then when we go play in a tournament, we're going to see what you're weak on. We're going to write it down and we're going to go work at it.
Yeah.
We're not going to say, man, you did this so good. We don't care. The whole point is to get better. I don't care if we won every game. If you didn't get better and you go back looking the same next year, you wasted your freaking time.
Yep.
So, with that being said, I have two kids who can't afford it. And so what I've told them is I have a group of people that we raise money for this particular thing, and I will be one of the people raising money as well. But they are going to play. Money will not be the reason that they cannot play. And
Yeah.
like one of them is a freshman that she's like 6 foot, 6'1". Like she will go to college and play basketball.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is those are the kind of things in life where I will not let somebody not do something because of money. And like, what you were talking about the other day, the Slav Olympics, you're like, hey, dude, like, don't let that be the reason. That's different.
Yeah.
That's a fun event that a bunch of YouTubers get together for. A
But it's the
kid
same
bettering.
concept, bro.
It is. But I'm saying in a sense of this kid is trying to better themselves so they can go to college for free
Sure.
compared to, hey, I want to go hang out with you guys. Like
Yeah.
it is the same concept, but on a like a different level.
No, I know. Yeah. The importance is not as high on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I
I understand.
also love that all of my people in this YouTube community, they understand. Like they're like, dude, we really want you to go. Like we're gonna be
Yeah.
sad that you don't go, but we don't hate you. We're gonna, we're
Yeah.
not gonna just stop talking to you all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So how
anyways,
much?
that
How much is the training for one of those kids?
so we play two tournaments or 2 months worth of tournaments. We'll play
Yeah.
two tournaments per month, and they practice and train 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And so it's 200 a piece for each kid, which I know other travel ball teams, it's like $1,500 or 2,000, but
200 total.
200, yeah, per month.
Oh, per month.
Yeah. And we're just doing it 2 months,
Oh, you're just doing
but,
it. So 800 total.
400 because
400
we're
total.
going, yeah. doing April. It'll be 200 for April, and then 200 for that. What's up? So anyways, that's where I'm going to reach out, and I'm sure we'll have a bunch of people that we'll get together and we'll do some stuff, and I'm going to do some fundraisers. But that's the part of like the giving back to the community without
Yeah.
telling everybody I'm giving back.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Like, so anyways,
Well,
dude,
I'll talk to the other boss, and I'll send you a donation.
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I
So,
appreciate that for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, I didn't want to make this too long. I know Vic had his show. Fishing was going to try to come on. I don't know if you heard about Fishing. He got hurt.
Fishing's a punk.
Did you hear about him getting hurt?
How did he get hurt catching a
This
big
man,
fish he couldn't reel in?
this man broke a rib, bro.
Broke a rib at the Senior Bowl.
Yes, yes. I guess he got hit, or
How did
I
he
don't know.
break a rib at the Senior Bowl? All he did was sit in a little room with a couple other guys didn't know what they were talking about and run his mouth.
Well, he probably snuck in, put on some pads, and tried to go out there and play like DB or wide receiver. Got caught
Hey,
going across the middle.
if he did that, then I'm happy for him.
I would, bro. I would respect the crap out of him, bro. If he pulled a move like that, bro, I'd respect the crap out of him. But
All
look,
right.
man, I will though. I will let you go. I'm like I said, I'm in the stream. We'll plan to do something Saturday night, kind of more hangoutish. But thank you though for coming on, dude. Like I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too, man. See you, bro.
See you. Bye.
See you, man. All right, guys. Love y'all. We jumping off. If you end up listening to this later, appreciate it. If you don't, still appreciate it. And we out. So yeah, appreciate you, sir, UGA. All right, bye, y'all.